It is 6:15. I'm getting ready for work. This week we are working on a very fun, very famous Saturday TV show, and it means lots of prep, and I'm really excited but intimidated. The days are long, but they are fulfilling and with great people. That's all I can ask for. So when I want my skin to stay in check, I always make sure that I use SOS products from Tower 28. They contain hypochlorous acid, which is basically an ingredient that really helps to keep your skin clean, squeaky clean, free from just breakouts. And it's almost like hand sanitizer for your face, but not aggressive or invasive. Think about it like that. But also really good for eczema and sensitive skin types. So this is the serum, and that hand sanitizer analogy wasn't really probably the best analogy. I just wanted to give you an example of how clean it is. It smells a little tiny bit like chlorine from a swimming pool, but in a way that feels clean and fresh, not in a way that feels chemically. And I sort of will sometimes use this, and sometimes I'll use this, sometimes I use both. If ever I'm breaking out, I am using this obsessively every single day. On piercings, I use it on my piercings. I use it if I ever get a cold sore, obsessively. I use it on, it's my Windex. It's the first cup of coffee of the day, not the best cup of coffee in the world. Then while that's sort of doing its thing, it's actually like getting a little bit tight on my face, which I love, that feeling. As soon as I hydrate, it will go away, that sort of tightening feeling, but it just gives me this like awareness of my face, which I weirdly, I don't know a better way to describe that, but I really like. These are the Shiseido lash curlers. And one of my favourite face creams at the moment is this one from the Inkey List. It's called the Omega Water Cream. I'm using this one because it's light and it's like, it's just barely there. And I use about maybe this much for my whole face. And if I'm being really sort of meticulous about where my placement is, I'll always go to those high points first, almost like where I highlight, you know? So I'll go to those spots first, and then I'll sort of rub those spots in, because I want the shiny bits to be, I want the glossiest parts of my face to be the parts not in my T-zone, right? So I want that like radiance to be away from the middle of my face. And then what's left on my hands, I'll just press into the center of the face. I'm not wearing SPF today because I am literally in a dungeon all day long, and I don't like to put products on my face that I don't need on a day where I don't need them. But if you're going to be in the sun, put SPF on. There is like a moment where I'm in the car and getting out of the car, but it's literally a blip of a second. And my other excuses is that I'm working with a client and I don't want to have to keep powdering myself when I wear SPF. I get a bit shiny throughout the day, and so I don't want to have to keep checking whether I'm oily looking or not, because I want to also look presentable at work. And I don't always wear eye cream in the day, so sometimes I do, depending on how I feel. Sometimes this is kind of the perfect amount of skin prep for me. I feel a little tacky in a good way. I feel glowy. I will do a little tiny bit of makeup with this, which maybe I'll show you in a separate video. But the only other thing I'll do my skin prep is probably just a tiny bit of lip balm. Again, like the majority, this is the Sisley one, it's bougie AF. The only thing that I would, my skincare is much more involved in the evenings before I go to bed than it is before makeup. I don't like loads of thick, rich creams under my makeup personally. I feel like I don't wear, I think that if you are, I hate explaining this. I think that there's so many reasons to why somebody would want a rich, decadent skin prep, and I don't think it's a wrong approach. I think that you have to consider the skin type and the type of makeup that you can be putting on, all of that, and then what the climate is and what the person's day is going to look like. So take that with what you will. But it's almost like, think of it as how you would layer for a day and is out and about. You don't know what the climate's going to be, and so maybe you'll put on a vest with a t-shirt and maybe an overshirt and maybe a light jacket. You can take all of those things off. So it's a similar mentality. You want to think about what you can't take the makeup off and things, and that maybe was a silly analogy, and I just realized that as I said it out loud. But you do want to just Am I making any sense? I don't know. Listen, just do what feels good and just fuck the rules, because there are none. Just take care of your skin, protect your skin when you're going to be in the sun, and wash your face before you go to bed. That's it. That's all you need to do. Love you all. Goodbye.